Welcome to Career Atoms. This video will help when it comes to understanding what good job hunting actually entails, especially if you find yourself out of employment and you therefore can devote yourself full time to a very concerted search process. Those who are looking to change roles but are already employed will need to adjust their search routine and prioritise key activities against the much more limited time that they'll have available at evenings and weekends. Whilst I'll highlight a potential daily structure and explain each of the job hunting elements and their purpose, it's important to recognise that my proposed routine isn't at all set in stone, so it's much more about you defining what you feel will work best and adapting accordingly. After exploring a sample daily routine in detail, I'll finish by highlighting 5 principles that I feel are really important for you to take on board as you work out your own schedule and embark on your search process. Here's a sample daily schedule I've put together, and whilst there's a lot to take in at a glance, we'll break it down and discuss each key element in turn. To begin with, it's very useful to glance over your job tracking spreadsheet, since this will guide some of the activities you'll want to conduct today, particularly if there's any following up on roles required. It's also vital to start each day with a positive, fresh mindset, so it's useful to briefly review good job hunting resources, including, of course, the Career Atoms website with its various guidance videos and FAQs. If you also subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can receive a very brief daily 1-minute or so video on Monday to Friday each week. This provides you with some additional quick snippets of guidance, positive thoughts and quotes, relevant viewer questions and any hot off the press job hunting news. It's a very small informal thing, but it could just help give you that extra little boost at the beginning of each day. Next, check and respond to any emails and messages as a priority, as you definitely don't want to miss or delay getting back on any urgent recruiter or employer communication. I've then put some time in where you can review internet job boards, particularly for any newly listed roles. The website includes a list of larger general sites such as Indeed and Reed, as well as some specific sector and industry focused ones, but it's probably not completely exhaustive, so take some time to find any others that you feel could be pertinent. If any of the new jobs jump out at you, you ideally want to be pretty quick to respond, especially when there may eventually be hundreds of applicants over the course of even just a week or so. Get into the habit of quickly scanning over all the relevant job boards on a daily basis, and you can use some simple saved searches with geographical and sector preferences to avoid having to plough through potentially thousands of irrelevant listings. In time, you can get pretty quick at going through this process, so it doesn't necessarily need to be a massively arduous task. After a break, I've then included some time for you to apply for particular roles. Obviously, if anything really jumps off the screen, then adjust your schedule and apply immediately. Keep in mind, however, that you should expect at the very least to undertake a quick edit of your CV for each role. This could include swapping in and out some key achievements and bullet points that are more pertinent to the particular position, as well as adjusting the order of certain points to make them more obvious. Optimise your CV to the role's specified candidate requirements and ensure greater alignment by making sure that you've included more of the relevant key highlighted skills in your own list of skills, and if needed, adjust any job titles to ensure greater alignment. Clearly, all of this is on the understanding that you do actually have these skills and you haven't just awarded yourself an undeserved promotion. Keep track of each CV version produced for specific roles so that you can always refer back to which particular version was sent. Use a simple spreadsheet to record everything. Here's one I created to track the company, the recruiter, role, location, job title, date, and any other pertinent info and CV document reference. You can download this from the Career Atoms website or just make up your own. Once you've applied for a number of roles, it's easy to start to lose track of everything, and there's little worse than being contacted by a recruiter and sounding completely vague because you've forgotten all about the position. Stay organised and you won't have to worry about desperately trying to recall a particular role should someone then get in touch with you. After lunch, quickly check for any new emails or messages that deserve an urgent response. Then I've put time in for calls and networking. Start by prioritising planned application or interview follow-up calls with any relevant recruiters or companies. Include emails where you don't have the numbers. Then use the rest of this time for networking, which is proven to be one of the most effective job hunting methods. So it's definitely worthwhile spending the time in reaching out to people already within your network via LinkedIn, etc., or indeed expanding your network further by inviting others to link with you. Don't just lazily hit the connect button on LinkedIn without including a very brief intro note, or most will just ignore it. You definitely don't want anything like a detailed covering letter in this regard, just a simple, concise note. Here's an example. Hi Sally, I came across your profile and noted you work at HKL. I'm currently looking for a new role and this company really interests me. As part of expanding my current network, it would be great if you could please accept my LinkedIn request. Many thanks, Mike. Or if you're contacting someone already within your network, just be very specific about what you're looking for. Hi Jonathan, hope you're well. I'm currently looking for a new IT project management role and wondered if you'd keep me in mind if you hear of any openings in and around the Northwest. If you could also please point me to anyone in your network who you feel I should get in touch with, that would be much appreciated. Best wishes, Mike. Obviously, if you already have contact phone numbers of friends, former colleagues and others that could help you in your search process, even better. Finally, during this time, as part of your networking, you could also undertake some additional LinkedIn activity. I refer to this in more detail in the specific LinkedIn guidance video, but in brief, you could both ask for and provide some skills endorsements and recommendations, as well as create any new posts on relevant topics or comment on the posts of others. LinkedIn is a vast social business network, so the more active you are as a participant and contributor, the more likely you'll be noticed, ideally by recruiters and others that may also be able to help you with your job hunting efforts. You could then spend some time researching a key target company that could be a really good match for you, regardless of whether they're actually advertising any roles or not. Not all open vacancies are advertised, and I've known many people who found their dream job by specifically targeting and speculatively reaching out to a company they really wanted to work for. Read up about them and use the company website, LinkedIn or other sources to find out who the key decision makers might be, such as a line or department manager, head of HR or appropriate recruiter if they have an in-house function. Make contact with them on LinkedIn and write to them, highlighting your very brief intro, mentioning why the company appeals and asking if you can connect, and send them a copy of your CV for any relevant current or future openings. Here's an example. Hi Anwar, I noted that you work within ABC PLC's internal recruitment team. The company interests me greatly, and since I'm currently looking for a new IT project management challenge, I'd like to connect with you and ask if I can please send you a copy of my CV for any current or future openings. Many thanks, Mike. After another break, and ideally including some fresh air and exercise, you could run a repeat trawl of the various job boards again, just to check if any new roles have been added throughout the day. Again, the logic is to make sure that you're at the very front of the queue if you do opt to subsequently apply for anything. You can make some additional applications or spend some time on reviewing and enhancing your base CV, LinkedIn profile or similar proactive activities. Check and respond to any new messages again. Finally, take a few minutes to update and review your job tracker sheet so that you can stay fully on top of everything. This may help guide some of your activities the following day, such as planning to follow up on a few particular applications or make contact with a couple of relevant recruiters. Then more broadly plan what you want to do the following day, perhaps identifying another company you'll research and reach out to. That's a pretty full-on day of job hunting, but remember, this is just a guide, so draw up your own daily plan that you feel suits you best. Now, I wanted to end today by highlighting 5 principles that are really important in job hunting discipline. Firstly, it's true that finding a new job is a full-time job. Even at the best of times, you should expect this to be the case, and for many in the current climate, this will be even truer. Be fully prepared that this search process is going to be pretty hard work. There likely won't be instant results, and at times it'll feel monotonous repeating the same stuff day in, day out. It won't be enough to just review an internet job board for a few minutes once or twice a week. Similarly, it won't cut it to apply for a role you like the sound of and then just sit back and wait until you hear anything before doing anything else. You need to be anxiously engaged and put a lot of effort into this process, targeting multiple relevant companies and roles at any point in time. You have to do more than you might initially imagine because admittedly, some of your efforts won't pay dividends at all. Not every job you target will result in an interview, and not every interview will result in a job offer. I'd rather be honest about this so that your expectations are better managed. You'll need to consistently work smart and hard to put yourself in a stronger position of securing a positive result. However, before you start to feel too demoralised, recognise that eventually your efforts will make a difference. You only need one application, one networking contact, or one other aspect of your search activity to ultimately come up trumps. There will indeed be something that you will do or initiate that will help bring about a positive outcome. Secondly, you should look to develop a daily structured routine that will become a habit. Consider all of the various elements that contribute to a job search process. Prioritise them and make sure you're covering these each and every day. A structured routine and keeping busy will not only maximise your chances of job hunting success, it also really helps with your mental well-being, replacing what might otherwise be somewhat of a void when you're so used to a very full, active working day. Thirdly, be flexible. I've already highlighted that the daily outline provided is just a sample, so work out what's right for you. Whatever you decide upon, write it out into a formalised structure somewhere, with corresponding times, or it's easy to overlook stuff and get sidetracked. But be flexible rather than rigid. If, for example, you find that you need to spend more time on a particular useful activity, then do so. Also, over time, you'll also gain a greater sense of which search activities are more pertinent and productive, so it's probably useful in a week or two to start to rewrite and rejig the schedule again and accordingly maximise your time and efforts. Fourth, you might find it useful to set some daily or weekly goals. For example, next week, decide to apply for 10 new job positions, or reach out to 20 people on LinkedIn, or research 5 potentially interesting companies. Of course, goal setting doesn't work for every single person, but for some, I do know that it really helps to set very focused targets. Lastly, make sure you get the right balance. Note that I purposely included 3 distinct break periods during the day. Also, don't be afraid to take some additional time off occasionally, or even the entire day, which is what you'd normally do anyway whilst in full-time employment. As mentioned already, repeating largely the same process day in, day out can be pretty monotonous and sometimes mentally draining and quite lonely. So reward yourself for accomplishing certain goals and don't let things get to the point where you begin to really hate the search process and find any excuse to avoid it. Don't burn yourself out. As important as job hunting is, find the right balance and make sure that you're still enjoying life with ample time for family, friends, hobbies and interests. This now concludes job hunting discipline. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope the principles and elements outlined prove useful for you in your search. I wish you all the very best.